students. I'm going to start Paradise Lost in today's class. We'll see invocation in today's class. So Paradise Lost, Book 1. It starts with an invocation. So invocation, it is the opening verse, paragraph of this great epic poem. Milton follows the classical epic convention in making a statement of his theme here and invoking the Holy Spirit to inspire, to inspire the poet and to accomplish the task he has undertaken. So Milton's task here that he has undertaken is to show that man's disobedience is, or to prove that man's disobedience is the main theme and the immediate result of his disobedience is the loss of the paradise. So in the first 26 lines of this epic, that is the invocation, 26 lines is the invocation part. Okay, the 26 lines, first 26 lines got just two sentences. The first 26 lines is the invocation part. So invocation is a formal prayer to the Muse for inspiration, help and guidance at the beginning of an epic. So usually the invocation in an epic goes together with the declaration of its subject. So Milton opens his Paradise Lost by formally declaring the poem's theme. As I said, the poem's theme is man's first act of disobedience towards God and the consequences that followed from it. So the act is Adam and Eve's eating of the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge. As you all know, it was given or told in Genesis, the first book of Bible. So Milton asserts that this original sin brought death to the human beings and for the first time causing us to lose our home in paradise. Until Jesus Christ comes to restore mankind to his former state of purity. So Milton then invokes the Muse to inspire him to accomplish the task he has undertaken. But the Muse is not the one of the traditional muses who reside on Mount Helicon, but rather it is the Holy Spirit that inspired Moses to tell the Israelites how in the beginning God created the heavens and earth. And in deciding to write an epic, so Milton, consciously places himself in the tradition of prior epic writers like Homer and Virgil, and also the medieval Renaissance poets like such as Dante and Spencer. So by doing this, he raises specific sets of expectations both for himself and for readers. So Paradise Lost uses conventions such as epic similes, catalogues of people and places, and invocation to a muse. And it contains themes common to epics such as war, nationalism, empire, and stories of okay. So as I said, the Paradise Lost, Book 1, it starts with an invocation. So this is actually the first part is actually the invocation. So invocation contains actually 26 lines. Okay. So Paradise Lost, Book 1. So what is invocation? The Muse. So invocation is actually a convention of classical literature and of epics in particular, in which an appeal for aid, especially for inspiration, is made to a muse, or it could be a deity, usually at or near the beginning of the work. So this epic format is to place the invocation in the beginning of the work. So here Milton follows the epic format. So he places the invocation in the beginning of this book. Okay, book 1 or all the 12 books as you know. This is the invocation, 26 lines. Okay, so let me read out. Of man's first disobedience, and the fruit of that forbidden tree whose mortal taste brought death into the world, and all our woe with laws of Eden, till one greater man restore us and regain the blissful seat. Sing, heavenly Muse, that on the secret top of Warab or of Sinai didn't inspire the shepherd who first taught the chosen seed. So of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree. So here the Muse is, if you see in other words, is inspirational deity, and it was a popular classical device which apparently Milton seems to follow. Okay. So however he deviates from the classical conventions steadily in presenting the nature and power of his inspirational deity. So he says, this is how he begins the poem. Of man's first disobedience. Okay, because of first man's disobedience, first man, Adam and Eve. So because of first man's disobedience and because of eating the fruit of that forbidden tree, that is the tree of knowledge, eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge, that brought death into the world. So after eating the fruit of knowledge, Adam and Eve, they became mortals. But before that event or incident, they were immortals. So after eating the fruit of knowledge or the fruit from that forbidden tree, they became mortals and lost the opportunity to live in paradise forever. So of first man's disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree, eating the fruit from that forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world. So because of that sin, the first man committed, they lost the opportunity to reside in paradise forever. And that introduced all our rule with the laws of Eden, that brought death into the world. They committed sin. That was the first sin committed by the great man. So the first man, and that brought all our sufferings, problems, and with the loss of Eden. So they lost the opportunity of residing in paradise forever till one greater man restore us and regain the blissful seat. So here, until one greater man. So they became mortal now until one greater man, and that is Jesus Christ, restored the place for them in paradise. Until the greater man is Jesus Christ, restored the place for Adam and Eve in paradise. So taking of the fruit is called the original sin. Okay, that is the original sin. The eating of the fruit is the original sin. So the poet prays to the Muses to help him to compose a great epic, because the Muses are very great and very wise. So restore us and regain the blissful seat. Sing, heavenly Muse. The poet, Milton is praying to the Muses to help him to compose such great epics so that they can regain their blissful seat. Sing, heavenly Muse, that on the secret top of Urab. So Milton introduces the Muses as the spirits who live on the top of Urab. So Milton's Muse is different from the Muses who traditionally inspired the classical poets. So Milton's Muse inspired Moses to receive the 10 Commandments and write Genesis. So Milton's Muse is the Holy Spirit itself. Understand? So Milton's Muse is different from the Muses who traditionally inspired classical poets. So he says, the Muse, sing, heavenly Muse, because it's different from the classical Muse. So sing, heavenly Muse, he is requesting the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, who reside that on the secret top of Urab, or Sinai, okay, shepherd Moses, who received the law on Mount Urab, which inspired Moses. That shepherd referred to Moses, the Muse which inspired Moses, who first taught the chosen seed, the people of Israel, Jews. So Moses, he was inspired by the Muse who first taught the people of Israel. So in the beginning, how the heavens and earth rose out of chaos, or if Sion will delight thee more, and Silos broke the flood fast by the oracle of God. I thence invoke thy aid to my adventurous song, that with no middle flight intends to soar above the Ionian mount, while it pursues things unattempted yet in prose or rhyme. So this is one section, one sentence. As I said, the invocation is divided and has got two sentences. This is the first sentence. So you can find one full stop here. Okay, just 26 lines, two sentences. So in the beginning refers to the book of Genesis. In the beginning of Genesis, the book of Genesis, the heaven and earth rose out of chaos. So Milton's Muse as the divine spirit that inspired the Bible and created the whole world. So the whole world is created out of chaos. Chaos rose out of chaos means God created everything ex nihilo. Ex nihilo means out of nothing. So in the beginning, how the heavens and earth rose out of chaos, out of nothing. How God created everything out of nothing. Okay, how God created everything ex nihilo means out of nothing. Or of Sion hill, that is Mount Sion, delight thee more. The Muse which resides on the Mount of Sion, or Silo's brook that followed, where the Silo's brook is where Jesus Christ cured a blind man. Okay, so the Muse which inspired Moses, that Muse should inspire me. So fast by the oracle of God, I thence invoke thy aid to my adventurous song. So he seeks or he prays to the Muse to fill him with knowledge, because he doesn't know how the world was created. So he seeks the help of the Muse to fill him, to give him the knowledge of the creation of earth, or to tell him the tale, the original tale, to help him to complete this tale. So the Muse he calls upon is the same one who inspired Moses to write the part of the Bible. So he requests the Muse to tell him the tale. The Muses were present when the earth and heaven rose out of chaos. So they become pleased when they saw the Sion hill. Okay, the Muses become pleased when they saw the Sion hill, the creation of Sion hill, and the Siloam brook, which is flowing by the order of God. And they were present near them. The Muses that time were present near them. The Muses actually exist in both these places, in earth and heaven. That means they live everywhere and they know everything from the very first. So that is why he calls upon the Muses, because they were everywhere. They live both in earth and heaven. So which means they know everything from the very first. So that is why the poet is requesting such wise Muses to help and support him to compose such a great adventurous song or epic. So see, invoke thy aid to my adventurous song. So that's why Milton says, I request you Muses to help and support me to compose such a great or adventurous song, that is this epic, to complete. And he mentions that the subject is so sublime that its height can be compared with the height of Ionian mountain, with